Hi everyone, my name is Salva Alavi and I'm a graduate student at the University of Houston. I am pursuing my Master in Education in Gifted and Talented Education and I plan to graduate this December. My draft presentation is about the effects of teaching gifted curriculum, particularly the gifted English curriculum, to non-gifted students. Let me start off by giving you a little bit of introduction. When you look at any classroom, any regular classroom at a public school, there are many different labels that we associate with different kinds of students. Some of the labels are according to the students' socioeconomic backgrounds, such as the at-risk label, students with low economic backgrounds, labels according to social and class status, such as students from the working class or the blue-collared families. There are also labels according to the racial and ethnic groups, such as African American or Asian students. One label that is most interesting to me is the label of gifted and talented. Mike Lambert wrote a journal article in 2010 in the Comprehensive Educational Journal titled Gifted and Talented, a Label Too Far. In this article, he observes that gifted students have long been claimed as part of professional and parental efforts to enhance their educational provision. In other words, they are provided with that one extra advantage of academics that they benefit immensely from. We will look at who, why, and how they're provided with these advantages later on in the presentation. We will demonstrate the advantages of using gifted curriculum to teach non-gifted students. I'm sure I'm not the only one who had this idea. Teachers are always thinking of ways to challenge their students, and this is an interesting connection that could potentially benefit non-gifted students in many various ways. There's no doubt that gifted math curriculum or gifted science curriculum can benefit non-gifted students. However, we will look specifically at how the English and language arts curriculum can help non-gifted students in their reading, writing, and research skills. I believe that by teaching gifted curriculum to non-gifted students, the overall student body at any given school can improve their academics, and we will look at how in the upcoming slides. As I researched this phenomena, 7 major themes surfaced through, and this makes up the main body of my presentation. Okay, now let's move on to our first theme, definition and qualities of the gifted and talented students. Both Oxford Dictionary and the Merriam-Webster Dictionary define gifted as having a natural ability in a certain field, mostly academics. Being called gifted opens up opportunities to prove oneself as such. Over the past 3 decades, gifted students have been called many names such as highly able or exceptionally able. Lambert defines giftedness as being associated with domains of ability which foster and explain exceptional performance in varied fields of activities. He further explains that the gifted and talented term refers directly and unashamedly to the perceived nature of the learners themselves. We all know the importance of labels and its impacts. If I tell my student that he or she cannot do mathematics, if I tell the student enough times, he will start believing me. Why don't we use this theory towards their own benefit and turn it into a positive thing? Why don't we let our non-gifted students know that they have the capacity to learn gifted curriculum? This way, we constantly push them towards improvement. Some of the traits of the gifted students, according to Van Tassel, Baska, and Stambo, are the capacity to learn at faster rates, the capacity to find, solve, and act on problems more readily, and the capacity to manipulate abstract ideas and make connections more easily. Having said that, these qualities can also be applied to non-gifted students in order to improve their academics, even partly if not 100%. Our second theme is the development of curriculum for the gifted students. Curriculum development is not an easy task. There are many factors that go into it, such as political, environmental, social, and technological. Renzulli and Reyes state in their article in 2009 that giftedness is not a state of being. It is not fixed and it does not reside in a chosen few over their lifetimes as a fixed entity. It is rather developmental. Now, this takes us back to the nature versus nurture debate, which we can leave for some other time. But it is definitely something to be observed and kept in mind while designing gifted curriculum. Since the qualities of gifted students is considered during curriculum design, it is important to understand that the enhanced abilities will benefit students of all intellectual levels. A little tweaking here and there might be required while adjusting the gifted curriculum to cater to the needs of non-gifted students. Hence, it is first important to understand the learning abilities of both gifted and non-gifted students. Our third theme focuses on the skill of writing. Since we are focusing on teaching the gifted ELA curriculum to non-gifted students, three main topics that emerge are reading, writing, and research skills. Writing is most talked about in the gifted literature. Garrett and Moulton wrote in their article in 2011 that a positive and supportive home environment is not necessarily the norm in the childhood experience of gifted adult writers. Common themes in the lives of contemporary American writers included experiencing unconventional family life and family traumas. This is interesting because often we tend to think gifted students are the ones who have a nurturing family environment, but we fail to look at how students from a weak family structure are often the best of writers because of their experiences. Their experiences can act as great writing prompts and an outlet for emotional expression. Gifted programs often include a ton of research for their students. Given that gifted students are curious and like to do their own research, the curriculum and instruction for gifted students involve a lot of research, both digital and paper research. Having such research skills can benefit non-gifted students to improve their general knowledge and encourage them to ask questions. Our fourth theme is the identification and the evaluation process of the gifted students. Lawrence wrote in her article in 2009 about gifted students are mostly identified through teachers' recommendations, grades, and sometimes identification by parents. Ideally, the only factor that should play a role in the identification process should be of intellectual ability. It is unfortunate, however, that factors such as social class and racial backgrounds also play a role in the selection process. This is the reason why program evaluations are so important for gifted programs. They provide us with outcomes, effectiveness, and improvements for the programs. Evaluations also ensure that no student is left behind because of class, race, ethnicity, or any other factors. Our fifth theme is the role of social class and race within gifted education. Lawrence continues to say in her article that giftedness is not skewed by race, ethnicity, or culture, but that is not true for schooling. In other words, students from all backgrounds can be gifted, but in gifted programs, this is not the case. Tying this back to the nature-nurture debate, giftedness can be nurtured according to factors such as health, wealth, ethnicity, race, gender, place in the family, culture, location, and moment in history of a child's birth. When we provide non-gifted students with the tools that we provide our gifted students with, they as well can succeed in academics. Our sixth theme is the professional development of gifted teachers. As we learn about the identification and evaluation processes of gifted programs, it is important to continue to try to improve ourselves as program facilitators. The main stakeholders involved are administrators, teachers, parents, community members, and the students themselves. It is important for all of us to get together and improve our gifted programs and extract its benefits for the non-gifted students. Careful training of the teachers of all students is significant in challenging and improving our education. Our last theme is the use of technology in gifted instruction. As we know, social media has become so common in our students' lives today. We need to embrace this so we can relate to our students better. Some examples of social media that can be used in classrooms are Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and Skype. It may sound controversial to some students or teachers, but we can use these as tools of instruction and turn it into a positive thing in our classrooms. Mulgreen explains in his article in 2007 how gifted students can be educationally enriched through a technologically advanced classroom. Gifted students especially are known to be more technologically inclined. Therefore, their curriculum involves online learning games, hyperlinks to lessons, and virtual field trips. This type of technology can be taught to the non-gifted students as well to boost their confidence and give them a new perspective on learning. As we conclude, we learned that Curriculum for the gifted should involve high-order thinking skills, problem-solving skills, and critical thinking. Instruction for the gifted should involve use of technology and creative instruction. This project identified the impacts and outcomes of teaching gifted curriculum to non-gifted students. Mike Lambert encourages us to consider how the unique qualities of gifted students can be embodied in all activities using all of the resources we have. The effects of teaching gifted ELA curriculum to non-gifted students are positive and beneficial for our education system today. Here's a list of my references. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.